The pediatric ortho fellowships, like we discussed before, each of the fellowships we need to have a great passion or a great liking to pursue a fellowship in that field. And I took up orthopedics to become a pediatric ortho. So that's how I already knew that I wanted to do this, and I started pursuing it since I was in my second years in masters. And yes, the peds orth is kind of it's not a child's play, but it's actually a child's play. So it's not very easy to go around in pediatric ortho because it's like doing an entire orthopedics in a younger adult. So it's like learning different subspecialties which otherwise an ortho would go for, and a pediatric ortho has to do each of these subspecialties maybe. Currently in India, since the past 10 to 15 years, it has been like building up, and now even the tier 2 cities have at least 1 or 2 pediatric orthos, while in Mumbai we are now almost a dozen of us. When I came back from my fellowship, I was kind of the 7th one, or what we would call here as the second generation of pediatric ortho in Mumbai city. So me and Mandar, we belong to the second generation then, and that's how we were always addressed. So far in the US or other countries, we see that already they have subspecialized in the pediatric ortho field, and each of the hospital has a further subspecialty unit in terms of pediatric hip, pediatric hand, pediatric foot and ankle, pediatric sports, or even pediatric neuromuscular disorders. So we have not yet gone that detailed here, but what is more recommended to have a generalized, in general, a pediatric ortho fellowship, and then further develop or do short-term fellowships or observerships in each of the subspecialty, which is much more very close to your heart. So like we discussed before, it's important to have a very good foundation before going for an abroad fellowship. It's important that we spend at least 1 or 2 years doing a local fellowship in our own country. And we, with a country with such a big population, we have such large numbers, and we don't get to see this amount of patients when we go abroad for sure. So considering in our own country, we have so many fellowships for pediatric ortho currently. Way back 10, 12 years ago, there was limitation to this. Currently at Mumbai, we have at BJ Wadia Children's Hospital. The SRCC Children's Hospital managed by Narayana also has 2 pediatric ortho fellowships. Apart from that, Pune, Bangalore, AIIMS Rishikesh, Ganga Hospital, CMC Vellore, Manipal, Lucknow, and even at Delhi. So now there are options throughout the countries because there are so many PDOTs who have been trained and are settled in different cities, and they are very much open to offer these positions to those who are interested. Apart from this, like Rohan mentioned, that now there is a 3 years course at CMC Vellore for AIIMS, at CMC Vellore and AIIMS Rishikesh for MCH. So similarly, a NEET-based MCH course for pediatric ortho and a state-based exam or a local entrance for AIIMS Rishikesh for MCH pediatric ortho has been started from this year. So we have currently one of our fellow who's been trying to go for these MCH pediatric ortho, which he'll be pursuing for next 3 years. I think that will change the way pediatric ortho fellowships are with the MCH being coming in picture. It will become more like a pediatric surgery branch, and then further people would probably want to do more of fellowships. So MUHS, that is the local, our state university, has 2 pediatric ortho fellowships. One is at Wadia Children's Hospital and other is at Jupiter Hospital. It's a 1-year fellowship program where there's an entrance required and an exit exam required, and this fellowship is accredited by the university. So apart from this, like we said, the local hospital or the university accredited fellowships, we have the association-based fellowship, which is the Pediatric Ortho Society of India fellowship. And these fellowships have been recently started with the POSI. So the K. Wilkins Inland Fellowship is a short visiting fellowship program, which is for at least 2 months, where they can visit a preferred center of their choice across the country, which includes Dr. Johari's place, and then subsequent centers they change every year depending on whoever bids for this fellowship program. Apart from that, there is a POSI Canadian fellowship program which works through the match program kind of thing, and it is the POSI and the Canadian and the UK fellowship programs. These both the programs have been structured and streamlined through the POSI so that the applicant who is applying gets the whole process done very easily. So for the UK, getting a GMC registration, or for Canada, getting to a competitive fellowship post at BC Children's Hospital at Vancouver is quite difficult, and hence getting through POSI, it becomes very easy. Again, the prerequisites are you have to be a POSI member. So like the spine team emphasized, you have to apply for the memberships of each of the association. You have to be minimum 2 years member, have a local fellowship or a good experience in pediatric ortho, and then apply for this fellowship programs through the website which I have just mentioned here. Apart from this, there are individual consultant fellowship programs which run in all the cities, and they can be directly approached to the individual depending on what practice, what kind of work you want to get exposure to, and what you would like to learn particularly. So after getting a very good strong foundation, that is at least a 1 or 2 year fellowship programs locally, it's fair to apply international, because even the programs outside, they look for someone who has a little background or who has a little exposure of the subject, and they always look for someone who has had an experience of at least 1 or 2 years. And when I went for fellowship, my co-fellow at that age was 34, and he thought I was too young to come for a fellowship, which I thought was not actually the scenario, because I was 29 then, and I thought that he was a little older, but they felt I was too young to come for a fellowship. In spite of doing 2 years at Wadia, that was the situation. And before getting into the Southeast Asian programs, I had applied to nearly 8-10 institutes, and finally I was shortlisted for a fellowship program at South Korea. So I'll quickly take you through some of the common and good fellowship programs which we have in the East Asian countries. Singapore at the NUH hospital has a very nice fellowship program, and also a KK Women and Children's Hospital. Some of my colleagues from other cities who have been my contemporaries have done fellowship programs at each of these hospitals. And similarly at Hong Kong, at the Duchess of Kent Children's Hospital is also a 6-month to 1-year fellowship program. Both of these fellowship programs are fairly paid. They provide a close-by accommodation near the hospital and have a good exposure of different subspecialties. Singapore has more of pediatric sports subspecialty there, while Hong Kong is like a generalized thing. They do a lot of hips at Hong Kong, and both the centers have been really good. The place where I did my fellowship was the Yonsei University Severance Children's Hospital, the one in the list down. And apart from this, there are other institutes or other university-based fellowships. The Seoul National University with the famous Professor Choi, whose classifications are being studied. They are there he's there at the SNU University. And then there is Korea University Guro Hospital, which has actually had many fellows from Korea, many fellows from India have actually done fellowship through KUMC at Guro Hospital. So when I was at Severance, there were 5 Indians at the KUMC, while I was the only Indian at the Yonsei University Severance Children's Hospital. So I went through for a 1-year clinical fellow program. It was a hands-on experience. So to get on a hands-on or a clinical fellowship, we need a good standing certificate from MMC, along with an additional certificate which allows us, which is addressed to the Ministry of Health Department in Korea, which allows us to do like scrub-in surgeries independently or as a fellow who is with us, like a co-fellow with us there. It's a certification course which is again later at the end of the 1 year, it is certified by the Ministry of Health. And I went there with with a more affinity to learn neuromuscular condition, particularly cerebral palsy. And I had a great exposure in this place, like we used to have a OPD of nearly more than 100 every day, 3 OTs running, and very good opportunities. So we were 2 fellows, one was a local fellow and I was the international fellow, and I had equal opportunities. Just like that fellow was allowed to attend 1 international meet, the university or the hospital allowed me to attend 1 international meet which was actually sponsored, and I got to visit the Deformity Day meeting at Heidelberg as the fellow program here. So I had equal opportunities at even the local meetings which they performed there. And apart from that, since it was a wonderful structured fellowship program, this makes a lot of sense to go for a long-term fellowship program which is particularly structured. Okay. So the shortcomings in South Asian countries are, of course, the language. The entire EMR system is Korean. You need to learn at least some basic things to read out the names. Or maybe if the name is in English, it's easier. When I went, the names used to be in the Korean thing, and they write partly English and partly Korean. You need to learn basic Korean just to get used to living there if you have to live there for a year. And of course, food, it's a hell of a place for vegetarians. So, but luckily it was not for me. So what would be the path to follows, and what are the qualities to inculcate as we proceed to doing a fellowship? It's important that we are sincere there. We represent our country there. And a small little behavior not good on our part reflects it on the people who would apply in the future. So in the past, there were some institutes which had bad experience with some fellow, a PDOT fellow. And after that, they totally informed the POSI and the seniors in the association that they would not want to have any more PDOT fellows coming from India because they were not happy about their behavior. So it's important that we set a good example. We are sincere. Already the Indians are known to be very diligent. We don't work by hours per week. We tend to work extra hours. That is kind of a plus point for us, and being diligent in work certainly adds to it. We need to present in their local meetings or meetings throughout that year internationally, publish, of course, and make contacts. It's important to make contacts and grow from that place ahead. Just doing a single fellowship is not the way there. So the hospital which I went for fellowship was a sister concern hospital with Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in US. And every year they would send their fellows for further training to US. And looking at the good work I had, even I had an equal opportunity. And from South Korea, I got an opportunity to go to CHOP, which was without an MLE. So this is a basically international visiting scholar program, and this program has many applications. So when I went there and I saw Dorman's secretary, she had a pile of applications, and that pile, she said, was a weekly pile. And they just don't look into it. Just because I went through this hospital, I was considered at a very short notice, and I could easily get in there. And so quickly, to summarize my experience, I would say it's very important to do a local fellowship. So I did a 2 years SR post and a fellow post at Wadia Hospital before going to Seoul. And after the Seoul, I could directly go to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia from South Korea. So I applied for the American visa from Korea, and I went for further studies there. And I did one of the small short observership program, which is now a POSI fellowship program. So POSI does this small observer program at Cincinnati Children's Hospital at Ohio. And when I went there, I was the first one for this program, and then it was not POSI accredited, but I was lucky to get in that program. They had just started it, and somehow I had written to the consultant there, and I was lucky to get in there. So this was my first time I went to America for fellowship or for study thing. And I attended my first international POSNA meeting there. And when I attended the POSNA meeting, I came across this scholar program, which was called Kur Scholar Program. And there was a recipient from Nepal who had received that award that year. And because I attended this meeting, I applied for this program next year. And through this program, I could be an observer at Sick Kids Toronto. Subsequent year, which was a totally sponsored trip, paid registration for the POSNA meeting, as well as 2 months of stay and observership at Sick Kids Toronto. So as we study or as we come back and get into practice and do the things which are more of our interest, so I came back, and for the last 10 years, I have been doing more of cerebral palsy and neuromuscular work. And last year, through the AACPDM meeting, and through the contacts which I had developed all these years, I could get this Scholar Award at Anaheim, California. So, oh my God, the mask is so tiring. So to summarize, I would say that it's important that over the year, we grow with contacts, we make contacts, and we present, publish, and every year we should go for short observer programs or short fellowship programs and learn and be updated about the newer things which are coming up. There are a lot of things which develop every year, and we too need an upgrade. So I would say that this is kind of a rough thing which I would suggest, and if there is any other thing, any guidance needed, I'll be always happy to help around here. And a couple of our past fellows have been doing really good, and they are doing some fellowships abroad, so thank you for that.